questions, you are welcome to unmute at any time, or you can type questions in the chat. We'll be watching that during the presentation as well.
Yeah, also, if you have any questions for me, you can always email them to Dr. Anwell and she can forward them to me to answer if you think of them after this. So.
Excellent. I think everybody is here. So we'll go ahead and get started. I have a presentation to share with you. Here you go. So welcome to the information session for the UMW Computer Science Department. Again, my name is Dr. Anwalt. I am a member of the Computer Science faculty. This is my 21st year at UMW, so I've been around for a while. I'm excited to meet all of you folks. We're representing 3 different programs at UMW. We have a major and minor in computer science. We also have a major and minor in cybersecurity that our department supports. And finally, we have a minor in data science that we're also involved in supporting. And so if you're interested in any or multiple of those programs, you've landed in the right spot. Tonight, I have some questions that frequently get asked during these kinds of open houses from students. And so I'm anticipating your questions. I also got your questions if you submitted some ahead of time. And so we'll make sure we hit those as well. So one thing that students frequently want to know about UMW is, what's the computer science department culture like at UMW? And I would describe our department as very friendly, and we have a lot of courses that require collaboration, and we have a lot of small class sizes. And so you really get to know the students that you're taking courses with, people that you're traveling through the major with. You end up working on lots of group projects together. You end up in clubs together, working on research projects together. And so there's lots of opportunities to make friendships and build relationships with the folks that you're going to school with. People also generally want to know a little bit about the faculty. We are a department of 9 right now, and we have a new faculty member joining us this fall. And so there'll be 10 of us, I guess, all here on the screen. And we represent a large number of research interests, everything from graphics and computer games to web development to modeling and simulation, artificial intelligence, networks, software security, lots and lots of different specialties. So no matter what your passion is, we have a faculty member who's interested in working on those kinds of projects. The faculty at UMW are unique in that we are all very much focused on undergraduate students. We do not have a graduate program in computer science or cybersecurity or data science at UMW. And so all of the faculty within the department are really interested in building relationships with undergraduate students and working with them on projects. Our department is located in James Farmer Hall. If you have been to the UMW campus, that is right next door to the admissions building, Lee Hall, where the bookstore is. And we have several classrooms there. Our classrooms are smallish because the maximum class size that our department supports is 27. So again, there's a lot of opportunities for collaboration and getting to know both your instructors and your classmates. We have 2 computer labs within our building, and those are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to computer science majors. So if you don't have a personal computer or if you have a hardware failure, it doesn't stop you from submitting your assignments. You're still able to use the resources on campus to complete your work. Another exciting thing I'd love to mention is that we are getting ready for a major renovation for our department. It is slated to begin next spring at this time. We're already working with the architects, and we have a lot of exciting plans in the work. There are going to be a lot of new student collaboration spaces, a lot of study labs, and some more active learning classrooms. So we're really going to enhance the learning environment. And again, if you guys are coming in the fall, then you'll be able to experience those first thing. You'll get like all the new shiny spaces that next year when you come to classes. A lot of times when students are thinking about majoring in computer science, one of the top questions on their mind is, what kind of computer do I need to bring so that I can make the most of my course experiences? At UMW, we don't require any particular kind of computer. We don't even require that you have a computer. Most of our majors do find it to be convenient to bring their own laptop or have their own device. But certainly if you don't have the resources for that, if that's just not a possibility for you, we do have all of those computer labs that are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can accomplish all of your coursework using those. If you are planning to get a new laptop before you head off to college, we support all the different platforms that are out there. As long as you can install your own software, then you are all set. We have a variety of faculty preferences between Windows, Macintosh, and Linux. And so whatever your favorite is, you're going to find faculty that use the same thing. And all of the software that we use for courses is open source. And so that means it's free and it's supported on all 3 of those platforms. So you don't have to worry that you picked a Mac and we have Windows only software or anything like that. As students are thinking about coming to UMW in the fall, they're also usually getting ready to pick their first year seminar. And so students often ask, does the department have a first year seminar? And sure enough, we do. We have a first year seminar that will be offered this fall called Minds and Machines. That's Dr. Finlayson's freshman seminar, and it has an artificial intelligence focus. And then I'm offering a freshman seminar this fall as well. Mine's called Technically Wrong, Sexist Apps, Biased Algorithms, and Other Threats of Toxic Tech. And we're going to be focused on kind of the biases that are built into software and what we can do to avoid those in the future. Things like, you've probably heard news stories about facial recognition software having difficulty recognizing people of certain racial backgrounds. And so we'll be exploring issues like that and like, how do those problems happen and what can we do to prevent them in the future? There's also a lot of other departments on campus offering interesting FSEMs. I wanted to highlight a few that you might be interested in that are being taught by math faculty. One of the math faculty teaches cryptography in our cybersecurity program, and he's going to be offering a freshman seminar in cryptography. So if you're into security, that might be a great choice. And we also have a math department faculty member who is active in the data science program, and she's going to be offering a freshman seminar on infographics, which is like how to visualize data. So those would be great choices. And I can't emphasize enough that absolutely any freshman seminar is going to prepare you well for success at UMW. They all have different topics, but they all have the same central themes related to building skills in research, using the campus resources, as well as communicating both written communication and oral communication. So whichever FSEM you think sounds awesome, please sign up for that one. You don't have to take one that's in the major field that you intend to pursue. In fact, at UMW, you can't even declare your major for your first couple semesters, and that's so that you have time to explore the wealth of opportunities that are available at a liberal arts school. And then after you've experienced a few semesters of coursework, then you're able to narrow things down and declare your major. A lot of times students are curious about what kind of support you can get if you need help in your courses. And again, our department is very, very supportive. The faculty within our department love answering questions and talking about their courses. And we each hold office hours each week. Those are designated hours just for students to come in and ask questions. You can stop in just to chat and say hi. You can come talk about internships or research projects. And of course, you can ask questions about coursework as well. We also have an open door policy. And so if you come by and it's not really our office hours, but our doors open, most faculty are willing to chat with students at any time. So if there's a time that's convenient for you, but it's an outside office hours and you see somebody's doors open, you don't need to hesitate. You can just knock on the door and they're usually happy to chat. We also have lots of other student support beyond just the faculty. We have some peer tutoring within the department, and Justin's one of our peer tutors. So I was going to let him say a few words about the kind of programs that they have and what they're doing to work with students.
Yeah, so me and another student in the department are both peer tutors for computer science specifically, and we offer appointments basically every day of the week, essentially. And then we also have this new thing called our Better Programming series, which basically just teaches students how to be better programmers in general. Because we've noticed that throughout the semesters, kind of some students are struggling with specific topics. We wanted to make sure that they have those down before they go on higher up in the major. But yeah, so we have peer tutoring for computer science specifically, and there's also peer tutoring for pretty much every other subject. So even if you don't major in computer science, there's math and pretty much every other subject. So yeah.
Right, there is peer tutoring for most introductory courses. So whether it's a foreign language or natural sciences, mathematics, all of those things have peer tutoring available. We also have specific tutors that help with kind of bigger picture skills, and we call those peer academic consultants. They are available if you need assistance with time management, if you're having trouble taking all of the assignments that you have and like making a schedule of how you're going to finish those and tackle them. Or if you got a really big project and you're not sure how to break it up into little pieces so that you can accomplish those and stay on task to finish it on time, then the peer academic consultants can help with that.
Yeah.
We also have a help desk on campus. Oh, go ahead. Were you going to add?
Yeah, I was going to add one more thing. And just with peer tutoring, we're also very, I mean, David and I, the other tutor, have had pretty much every professor in the department up to this point. So we tried to stay synchronized with sort of the professors and what they're teaching. So we interact with them a lot and try to like synchronize the stuff that we're tutoring so we're both on the same page, and can help students the best. Yeah.
Yeah. They do a fantastic job too. I can say that at the beginning of the semester, they sent out all of their ideas about what they were planning to do to enhance student learning in the tutoring hours. And then I sent back some feedback about my course schedule and when we were going to cover things. And then they adapted everything they were going to do so that it specifically matched my course, which is super awesome. So students can always get help from faculty members. Again, we're really there for the undergraduate students, but sometimes they feel more comfortable talking to one of their peers. And so the peer tutoring is another great option. UMW, go ahead.
Oh, was someone saying something?
I thought so.
Oh. I didn't hear.
All right, we'll try again.
Yeah.
If you wanted to ask a question, you can type it in the chat or you can unmute and interrupt us. Either one's okay. UMW has lots of other support services as well. So we have a help desk for IT issues. If you're having trouble with a laptop or something like that, and you need some support, or if you're having trouble installing software, they are there to help you. We also have a digital knowledge center, which is helpful with digital tools. If you're maybe required to build a website or interact with blogs for a particular course, they are there to help you with those things. They also help with filming. If you need to create videos or something like that for a course, they'll help out with that. And we also have the writing and speaking center, and students frequently go there with computer science assignments because one of our one of the things that makes our department distinctive is that we very intentionally build in a lot of communication elements into our courses. And so we have several courses within the department that count as part of the university's writing intensive program, and some that count as part of the university's speaking intensive program, so that you can get that experience concentrated in our major, and it's really relevant to the kind of problems and experiences that you'll have after graduation. Students are often really interested in how they can get more involved in the department. And so there's three main ways to do that. One is through pursuing a research project. There's also opportunities for outreach. And finally, we have several department clubs. So I want to highlight those. In terms of undergraduate research, we do have opportunities for first-year students to be involved in undergraduate research through what's called the URES courses. Those are entry-level research experiences so that you can maybe shadow some students that are doing a research project, or perhaps be involved kind of doing some background research or literature searches, something like that, to help contribute to a project, but before you have a lot of content background in the particular field. We also offer a undergraduate research experience over the summer, and that is competitive. So you can apply to be part of it and work with a particular faculty member. It's a 10-week program over the summer. If you're selected to participate, then you get a stipend, and traditionally you get free room and board for the summer as well. And you're there with a cohort of students all doing research with different faculty members. And then they have a symposium at the end where you present your research, and you can win prizes for the best project. We also have several undergraduate research opportunities that are more targeted for upper level students. We have individual study projects and also departmental honors projects. And Justin's working with a faculty member on an individual study right now. So I thought maybe he could share a little bit about his topic and what they have going on.
Yeah, sure. So I was approached by one of my professors last semester. Whoops. I was approached by one of my professors last semester, and he basically asked me if I would be willing and wanted to do research with him. And I didn't really know what it was at the time, but I said basically yes, like let's do it. And the field is in modeling and simulation. So we're using object-oriented programming, which if you're in the department, you'll learn about a lot. But yeah, basically, we're studying how individuals in a simulation interact and kind of what societal conditions that creates. And if the field specifically is called opinion dynamics. But yeah, so hoping by the end of the semester to have a paper with all of our research and hopefully get it published. So.
That's super awesome. And the department really encourages students who are doing high quality research like that to be co-authors and publish papers alongside the faculty. And they're typically not published in like student conferences. They're typically in top research journals. And it's really impressive to have that kind of credential when you're graduating from an undergraduate school. Because we don't have graduate students to collaborate with, it means that all of those research opportunities go directly to the undergraduate students, which is pretty awesome. Another way you can get involved is through outreach programs. The primary outreach program that we have right now is a high school mentoring program. One of the other faculty members, Gusty Cooper, and I have a partnership with one of the local high schools in Fredericksburg, and they have a large number of students who kind of max out on their computer science courses at that particular school. And so they enter their senior year and they want to do some more computer science, but they don't have like an official course. And so they enroll in an individual study at their high school. And then the UMW students come alongside of them and help to craft a custom research project for those students to work on. And they serve as mentors and kind of help guide them towards resources that would be really useful for those projects, and provide technical support for them as well. If they get stuck on anything, then they help them out with support. We just had a meeting with them this evening right before this, and they're doing like really impressive projects. So it's really cool to get to watch them do that and to get to watch the UMW students kind of experience what it's like to teach somebody else some skills. We also have several student clubs, and these are clubs that have been active during even pandemic times. We have a chapter of the ACM, which is the International Professional Organization for Computer Science. And our local chapter focuses mostly on programming contests and hackathons. So right now they are planning for a hackathon that they'll have on campus in just a few weeks. And they've also traditionally, in non-pandemic times, been able to travel to various regional hackathons. This particular photo, they won a first place prize at the Dominion Hackathon in Norfolk, and they beat out all the other universities in Virginia and won $10,000 for that particular project that they did there that weekend. So it's something that's really cool. The programming contests are typically like one evening of events where you get a problem set and you and a team of other students kind of test your skills to see like how quickly can you solve all the problems. And again, there's usually prizes and some food and things like that for the top teams. Another student club that we have is focused on diversity and encouraging it within the computer science field. And so one of their focuses each year is on tutoring and bringing in guest speakers. And they're also very excited every year to travel and go to the Capital Region Women in Computing Conference. And UMW is actually hosting it this year. It's going to be a virtual conference. It's open to everyone. You don't have to be a university student to attend. So if you guys are interested, you can check it out. It's just CapWIC for Capital Region womeninComputing.org. And the conference is open to all genders. It's not just a women's conference. There are always plenty of men at the conference as well who want to be allies and support diversity in computer science. It's a really great student experience. They always come away with lots of good ideas. And it's another opportunity where students can share projects and research that they've done during the year with students from other schools. And then finally, we have a club that is focused on data science. So if you are somebody who's very interested in big data and solving problems with it, we have a club that focuses on that specifically. They had a datathon locally at UMW this past fall. And I was one of the judges for it, seeing everybody's projects and how they like took a big data set and then what they pulled out of the data set and what kind of conclusions and decisions they made based on that information. And that was really exciting to watch. Traditionally, they also travel to a datathon out of state as well. I don't think they're going to be able to do that this spring, unfortunately, just due to all the regulations at various campuses. But hopefully, fingers crossed, next year we'll be able to be back on the traveling. We'll be able to travel again and go to events like that. Whenever we have prospective students events for students who have been accepted, there's always some questions about course placement and whether there are people available to help with that. And absolutely, we have people that are available to help with that. If you have questions about course placement this spring, you could contact Dr. Finlayson. His email's on there. It's also on our webpage, and he's our current department chair. I'm taking over as department chair in the summer. And so if you have questions about course placement, say from May through August, then you can email me and I'd be happy to answer questions about those. Kind of big picture, most students come to the University of Mary Washington without having any background in computer science or programming. And so they are typically placed in our entry-level course for folks with no prior programming experience. And that is completely okay if you are in that bucket. Again, that's the largest percentage of our majors.
Yeah, I had no experience coming in, so I took 110. So
and Justin's a superstar now, so it doesn't hold you back at all or prevent you from being awesome or doing research with faculty or anything if you're in that entry level starting point. Sometimes there's students who have taken a computer science class in high school. If you take the AP Computer Science course and get a or I start with AP Computer Science Principles. If you take that and get a 3, 4, or 5, you earn 3 credits and start in Computer Science 220, which is our second course in the major. If you take Computer Science AP and get a 3 or 4, then you get 3 credits and start in that same course. If you take AP Computer Science and earn a 5, you earn 7 credits and start in Computer Science 240, which is typically like a sophomore level course. So you're like a year ahead in the major if you do that. And again, that's pretty unusual. Every once in a while, we have some really spectacular people who are able to do that. And if you get those scores, you should feel confident that you'll be successful in that level that you place into. And I realize there's lots of other kind of possibilities of where you might be in that. And so that's why you can always email us and we'll give you our kind of best guidance based on your personal situation about where you should place within the starting points for the major. Folks are always interested in whether it's possible to double major, and that's definitely an option at UMW. I drew this little pie chart to kind of show you what a degree looks like at Mary Washington. So in order to graduate, you need 120 total credits across your 4 years. So that's about 15 credits per semester. And the computer science major itself is this blue slice. It's 46 credits. And then you need to take a certain number of general education courses. Some of those overlap with your major, but some of them are probably going to fall outside the major. It's probably going to be about 30 credits total. And then finally, the remaining coursework that you have is elective credits. And so that ends up being about a third of the slice of the pie as well. And most majors are about the same size as the computer science major, so you can easily fit them into this extra slice if you'd like to. You can also easily fit a minor or just a whole collection of extra courses that interest you into that free elective category. And Justin's double majoring, so I thought he might be able to share his experiences. Is it hard to double major in terms of like scheduling and getting classes that you want?
Yeah, I would say you definitely have to be more prepared when it comes to scheduling and kind of being a semester ahead, because you're with double majoring. You actually get a major advisor whenever you declare a major. So for me, I have 2 major advisors. Actually, Dr. Annawalt's my computer science. She's my computer science major advisor, and then I also have an economics major advisor. So you have to kind of meet with them to make sure that you're on the right track in terms of getting the courses scheduled when you need them to, just so that you can fit everything in. So yeah, but it's definitely doable. So
yeah, it's very doable. You just have to be careful and intentional in what you're picking. And sometimes you might not get like your first choice in your elective that you want because it conflicts with something that you need for your other major that you have to take. But again, as long as you're flexible, it usually works out great and it's no problem at all to double major. We've even had a triple major once. That was pretty unusual though. In the questions that you folks submitted before the event, somebody asked a question about outcomes for the department and specifically about job placement. And the department does help with students looking for internships and also full-time positions. We did a survey a few semesters ago and found that 70% of the department students held a paid internship in the computer science field during their 4 years at UMW. And that's pretty impressive. I would say that the students who don't have a paid internship during their 4 years are people who are opting not to do that for one reason or the other. Some people have other things that they need to attend to during the summer, or they're very, very passionate about research. And so they're spending their summers doing research at a university instead of having an internship. All of those are valid choices and things you might want to do with your life in the summer as well. But students who are interested in pursuing an internship typically are able to find one fairly easily. The department has a great alumni network, and the faculty are available to help you connect with those alumni and also just area employers. We have a good reputation with them as well, and so they are happy to employ our students as interns over the summer. put a few sample employers on here, places you've probably heard of, like IBM and Microsoft, the Washington Post. Those are all places that UMW students have had internships with recently. Most of those students are able to take that internship experience and then turn that into a full-time job offer once they graduate. So for example, if they intern there after their sophomore year and then again after their junior year, they're able to make that a full-time job offer before they graduate. Most computer science majors walk across the stage and pick up their diploma and already have a job offer in hand and are all set to begin their career. We also have some students who are interested in pursuing advanced degrees after graduation, and we have a good track record of getting those folks into graduate programs as well. I know we have somebody at the University of Virginia right now working on his PhD in kind of like a blend of mathematics and computer science in terms of his research field. One additional thing I wanted to mention before we wrap up today, and we'll open it up for some questions. We do have a high school programming contest that's coming up. So if you're still in high school and like to program, you might want to join us. It's on April 10th. It's from 11 to 4:30. It is 100% virtual since we have reduced ability to meet in large groups on campus. It is completely free. It's a team-based competition, but you can also enter solo, or you can sign up solo and say, I'd like to be placed with some other folks who are interested in competing, but maybe also don't have teams. And there are cash prizes for the top 4 teams. So it's pretty cool. I'll copy this link after I stop sharing the slides, and I'll put it in the chat so you guys could see the Google form if you're interested in signing up for that. It's just a cool day to come hang out. You get to meet some of the computer science faculty members, and we'll also have some student volunteers there as well. You can chat with them while you're working on different projects, things throughout the day. So big picture, that's some of the kind of critical information about the computer science department, things people frequently ask about in these types of events. At this time, we'll open it up for questions. If you guys have any questions about our program, the major, the university in general, if you want to hear more from Justin about his student experiences, you can ask him questions too.
Hi, I had a couple questions. How many students are in the program, and are you doing classes in person now, or how are you handling that?
So our department is one of the 10 biggest majors on campus. We have approximately 200 declared majors, and at UMW, students don't declare their major until after their freshman year. So we have about 60 to 70 students per year that are joining the program. In terms of classes meeting in person or online, right now it is faculty choice for the year. And so for example, in the fall, I taught classes in person, and I also taught classes online. This semester, all of my classes are online, but UMW is anticipating a return to in-person classes in the fall. And so there might be a small number of online classes still being offered this fall for folks who prefer that option, but most classes will be online. I'm thinking it's probably going to be about 70%, or sorry, most things will be in person. I think about 70% will be in person, probably 30% will be online.
Thank you.
Sure. Justin, maybe you can say a little bit about your experience as a student in the online classes. I know students in my fall classes, they came in kind of worried about how things were going to go because they had just graduated from high school in that year where we just kind of chopped everything off and said, well, we're just going to forget about March through June. And so they had very low expectations. So what was your experience in the fall?
Yeah, I would say actually not that bad in terms of computer science. So I had, usually the way I try to break it up is I do half economics classes and half computer science classes just to stay on track. And I found that computer science professors generally just being more tech savvy in general helps in terms of Zoom and knowing, like you get a lot less like I don't know what I'm doing, which helps in terms of Zoom. So it's definitely not as bad in terms of switching over to Zoom, and they're definitely more tech savvy in terms of being on Slack channels and working with like email or Discord or however you reach students. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll also say that UMW did a really good job of preparing faculty, where all faculty last summer had to go through a 4-week training program about teaching online and how to do that effectively, along with examples of how to organize your class materials, how to set things up so that it wouldn't be overwhelming to students in terms of communication and due dates and things like that. And so I think that our really intentional approach helped with student success in the online environment. But we're also really excited to get to see everybody in person again. I definitely miss that. So I'm hoping that the fall is going to be very, very normal. I'm planning to teach on campus in the fall for sure.
Yeah, that is one thing I miss. I mean, usually the computer science kind of lab area, just with there's a bunch of like whiteboards in there, and there's 2 labs right next to each other. So that area is generally kind of like active area. If there's like a class in one of them, or just like usually one of them is open, and there'll be a lot of students in there just like working. And you do kind of miss that. They're still open now, but there's just a lot less students in there naturally because most of your classes are on Zoom, so you're in James Farmer a lot less. But next semester, hopefully, it'll be back to mostly in-person stuff. So
Yeah, we're hopeful. Justin, you have a question in the chat. Somebody
Oh.
asked, how tough was the transition from high school to college? What did you think?
So I think freshman year, let's say it's definitely tougher, and you do notice a difference. I mean, like you notice that there's definitely more expectations, and the quality of work kind of needs to go up. But I wouldn't say it's like not doable. I would say your FSEM that you take, I think, is it mandatory to take it? I can't remember. Is it mandatory to take it freshman year fall?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So your FSEM and generally the courses that you take freshman year, especially freshman year in the fall, generally are not going to be as like challenging. Even if you take 110, it definitely is a slow introduction. They're not just like throwing you to the wolves and saying like, good luck, here's this program. It needs to be like, these are all the requirements. So you're going to be okay. And I think especially with if you reach out to a professor and say like, can you help me schedule my schedule for this fall, because I don't want it to be too challenging. Dr. Ann will actually help me at my orientation with my schedule freshman year fall. So yeah, it's definitely doable. So don't worry about it too much.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what the orientation scheduling process is going to look like this summer. It's always an adventure to try to figure that out. I'm sure it'll have a lot to do with what the guidelines are in terms of safety for campus in the summer and gatherings. But there are always faculty members available when you're doing that scheduling for your first semester. Typically what happens is they'll use the feedback that you give them in terms of surveys about your interests, and they'll pre-register you for several classes, things that would be applicable to your major, things that would be general education classes, and then one of your preferred FSEMs. And then when you do your scheduling over the summer, you can change any of those, except you usually can't change your FSEM because it gets tied to your residence. But any of the other courses you can change, and you're able to add some additional courses, things that you're excited about. And faculty are available to answer questions and help guide you. So if you have course placement questions and things like that, you can ask those during those scheduling days in the summer. Last summer, we still had faculty there. It was just like all online. But again, hopefully we'll be able to do it in person this summer. Somebody asked about the cybersecurity program, if I could talk a little bit more about that. Absolutely. So the cybersecurity major at UMW, it's fairly new. We did have our first cohort of graduates last spring, and it's related to the computer science major. You graduate and you get a bachelor's degree in computer science, but it says emphasis in cybersecurity. You take a lot of the same classes that you would take for the computer science major, because it's a very software focused security program. And so you're still going to do a lot of the coding that you would do in a traditional computer science major, but you replace some of the courses that are more hardware and theoretically focused that are in the computer science major with things that are applicable to cybersecurity instead. And so, for example, instead of taking a class on databases, you take a class in cybersecurity law. Instead of taking a class on computer architecture, you take a class in networks. And so they're similar, but it allows you to have more of that security focus if that's really your passion. A lot of students come in and they're not sure which one they want to do, and all the courses are identical for the first couple years, definitely for the first couple semesters. And then what I usually recommend to students is that if they're not sure, or if they think they want to do the cybersecurity major, take the introductory course. If it turns out they love it, that's fantastic. They should pursue the cybersecurity degree. If they don't love it, then that course just counts as one of the electives to the traditional computer science major. And so it's not a wasted course. You can still count it towards your degree and you still have that background knowledge. I think security is a really important field. It's definitely something that employers are clamoring for experts in. And so just taking even one course in cybersecurity is a great idea for your degree. And again, there's lots of different ways you can squeeze that in there, either doing the whole cybersecurity major, or you can also major in computer science, minor in cybersecurity. That's another option. Or you can major in computer science and just take 1 or 2 courses in cybersecurity if you just have some interest in that, but you also are interested in other computer science applications as well. You guys have great questions. Oh, I remember one of the questions that was on the pre-registration list. Somebody asked whether the people who teach courses are all full-time faculty. Yes, that is 100% true at UMW. We do not have graduate students. We don't have teaching assistants. We have the peer tutors who can supplement the course delivery and help with students if they need extra assistance and they prefer that mechanism. But faculty are very available for questions and things like that. You don't necessarily have to rely on other students to teach you about the various topics in your courses. That's what the faculty are there for.
Yeah, that is one thing I've found beneficial with UMW is you really can, I mean, not now with COVID and everything, but before COVID and hopefully like next semester, you can really just go into one of the professor's offices if you have a question, and they're more than happy to answer your questions and help you work through a problem that you're having. And that really is one of the most important things, I think, because you can either be stuck on something for like a day or 2 days, or you can just go into the professor's office and ask them, and they'll work through it with you, which is super helpful. So
yeah. And we're trying to make it work on Zoom. I'm teaching introductory courses this semester. And so I'll constantly have students email me and they'll say, hey, can you jump on Zoom for 15 minutes? I just need to show you something on my screen. And I'm very, very happy to do that. I know we're getting towards the end of time for this evening, but we do have time for a few more questions. If you have questions, anything about campus, it doesn't even have to be related to computer science. I'm going to put my contact information in the chat again, just in case you want it before you head out tonight. What's one thing you folks are hoping for in your college experience this fall? You guys could type something in the chat or you could unmute. Somebody asked a great question about how individual courses are delivered. And so whether it's mostly lecture or is it mostly hands-on or is it a mix? So I would say it's a mix. For most classes, there are components that are lecture oriented and there's components that are hands-on oriented. So for example, I'm teaching Computer Science 220 this semester. And when we come to class every day, I have material that I'm presenting in kind of a lecture format, but it's interactive. And so I'll talk about something, a concept, and then I'll say, hey, let's do a couple examples by all together. And so we'll do examples, or sometimes we'll go into breakout rooms and people will work on them, and then we'll come back and review everything together. And we also have a dedicated hour every week that we work on lab activities. So it's time for students to work on coding projects and get support while I'm live there in the classroom with them. And that's pretty typical for most computer science, where there's a mix of lecture things and a mix of hands-on things. We try to make it as interactive as possible.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty standard too. I mean, most of, like, I haven't really had any classes where it's just like you're sitting there and getting lectured to for an hour and a half. Most of the time it's like you'll be given, like, introduced to a concept and then like shown an example, and then you'll kind of do the example together, and then maybe you'll go and do like a lab on the example for or on the topic for like an hour after. So
somebody just asked a great question about transfer credits. And I do not 100% know how all of the transfer credits would come in from the community college. So what I can show you is that on the UMW website, if you type in VCCS for Virginia Community College System, the top link there to the registrar's page is a link to all of the different courses that we give credit for. And so you can click on the prefix of the course that you're taking. Like I know a lot of the computer science ones are CSC. And so it'll tell you like which computer science courses do we offer transfer credit for. I'll put that in the chat. It's a really long link. Sorry about that. Oops. I will say this, if you're taking dual enrollment classes, even if you aren't able to transfer the credit for them at UMW, that's still like a really awesome experience. That's going to make your transition to college really smooth, because you'll already have those kind of college expectations in your head. Kind of the biggest change high school to college is that in high school, you spend most of your day in class working on assignments, and then you have like a little bit of homework on your own. And in college, it's the reverse. You spend a small amount of time in class, and then you spend lots of time working on studying and working on projects and things like that outside of class. So it's kind of cool because you get to direct your learning more, but it also means you have to be like on top of it a little bit more. So again, I know that we're coming up on the end of our session. I thank you guys all for coming tonight. Don't hesitate to send me email if you have questions about something. I'd be happy to answer emails. And we'll hang out on the call for a few more minutes in case people have additional questions.
Awesome, guys.
Ta-da! Thanks, Justin. I didn't know
Yeah.
that I helped you with registration when you
Yeah,
were an
you-
incoming student.
You did actually. Yeah. I remember I was like deciding what to take, and because I needed like 2 other courses that were gen eds, and you recommended BUAD 105 and the social world, which I ended up taking. So yeah, I think it was that along with 110. And I like didn't really know. I was like, I think I'm gonna do computer science, but like you're a freshman and you have kind of no idea. Or you're
Yeah.
not even a freshman at that point, you're in the summer before that. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. Those are
Yeah.
always such a see, like you see like, I don't know, 100 students that day and you have no idea what you told
Yeah.
anybody.
I also emailed Stephen, Professor Davies.
Yeah.
I emailed him before I even came in about like the whole laptop question, like what should I get? Because he was the department chair, I think, at that time.
Mhm.
And then ended up doing research with him. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. I have this email from like what was it, 2017, I think. So
Yeah. Saying you can get any kind of laptop you want. Get
yeah,
one with a good processor.
pretty much. He said anything newish. So
Yeah.
but cool.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Thank
All
you
right.
again.
Thanks for hosting us.
Yep,
Adam.
absolutely. Appreciate it. Yeah, and if I haven't get any follow-up questions, I'll forward them your way. But thanks again. We really appreciate it.
All right. No problem.
All right. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Thanks. Hope the rest of the week goes well.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right. You too.